Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Tyler here at Aliens Rock, and welcome back to some Bloons TD Battles hashtag Epic Late Game. So I usually use that term kind of ironically, but not so much this time. This was actually pretty legit, especially as the game went on. It got pretty butthole clenching, especially at the end. So for those who didn't know, I've been trying to get the highest round world record in Bloons TD Battles for a couple streams. I spent 2 streams on it, just trying out different strategies, playing with different people, just doing a bunch of attempts to try to get the highest round world record. So the current world record right now in this update of Bloons TD Battles is round 123. No one's gotten higher than that without using cheats or old versions of battles, which obviously don't count towards the world record. And the record is held by my opponent here, Judge Josh. So I got him, and we're going to be playing together and trying to beat that record, trying to get around 124. At least that's been the topic of the past few, or past live streams when I did this. I mean, obviously it's an attempt, but we've had some really close runs, we've had some really exciting runs, and I mean, I think it's reasonable to show close attempts to the YouTube channel, because I mean this run was insane. I thought this was gonna be it for sure, but just keep watching to see what the hell happens. And if you don't know who Judge Josh is, my opponent, he's a really cool YouTuber. He's a smallish dude. He doesn't do commentaries or anything like that, but he does like, you know, video editing, gameplay of music, and basically what he does is he takes bad strategies and makes them good, and he takes good strategies and makes them even better. It's really entertaining stuff, so you should definitely check out his channel if you haven't already. Link to it will be in the comments, so seriously, he needs some love, especially since he got the original world record himself. He basically created the strategy that both of us are using. So yeah, this strategy, I'm going to go over the towers one at a time, talk about why they're in the loadout and what kind of strategy I'll be going for, along with towers I didn't include. I'll be doing that after I talk about the towers I did include. So we got Super Monkey, Ninja, Ice, and Balloon Chipper for our loadouts. So Super Monkey is a no-brainer. Temple's really strong, does a bunch of layers of damage per shot, shoots super fast, pops a lot of balloons, huge range. Can't go wrong with a Temple. Techno Terror is also pretty good, because I mean they have a, you can fit more of them on maps than temples because they don't sacrifice anything, and they do 1,000 damage, splash damage with their technological terror abilities, plus just the 2-4 temple. I mean, basically has 2 fast firing guns, fire every frame, and they pierce 7 balloons, I think. It's either somewhere between 5 and 7. You know, it's decent pierce and it's good against UMGs, so you want as many of those as possible. So for Super Monkeys, we're going for 12 temples, which is the most temples I believe you can fit in any Bloons TD Battles map. If you want to do any more, you gotta play BTD 5. And then we're going for about 50 plus Techno Terrors in between. So for the temples, it's pretty standard. Just space them around the map, making sure they don't sacrifice the other temples. We're just placing 0-0s right now just to be extra safe. Then what we'll be doing is sacrificing $30,000 of ice towers to them and $30,000 of miscellaneous to them. Usually it's a technological terror, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, as long as it's $30,000 of just specific temple sacrifices, you know, not ice, basically, in this loadout, you'll be good. So we're just doing that, and that's the best temple we can get. We have Bonanza with fire, just so we can get extra money and start buying our towers a little bit quicker. Like, yeah, I mean, I know we could do it in just normal battles, but I don't wanna be bothered with just taking a long time to get up 25k eco. I just want to get that eco ASAP and start rolling in the dough and start hitting up that late game. It just makes it a bit less stressful that way, to say the least. So yeah, eventually, once we get all these temples up, we'll be placing the towers in between, and I'll be talking about that. So I mentioned the 50 plus Techno Terrors. Then we'll be getting, after we get as many Techno Terrors as possible, we'll be fitting the Ice Towers in. And if you don't know why we have Ice and Ninja, I guess for that matter, I mean, both of them provide a 50% slow, and they stack. So if you have both the Ice and Ninja ability together, towers get slowed to balloons get slowed to 25% speed, giving your towers 4 times the amount of time to actually shoot and take them down, which means you can probably last a lot longer than you would without them, to say the least. So Ninja and Ice obviously work together there, and Ice is a temple sacrifice as well, so that's why I have both of those. So what I plan to be doing after I get all my Techno Terrors is filling up any further empty spaces with ice towers, because ice towers take up a lot less space than Techno Terrors. So you can probably find some tiny little holes in the map where you can just fit in random ice towers to get 2-4 absolute zeros and use that for the slow. So Ninja is kind of nice where you only need a 4 of the ability because you can just chain them together. Sometimes you can get away with 3. I was getting away with 3 for a while, but then I messed up the timing, so I realized 4 is probably the way to go. But you need a lot more ices because ices don't affect or slow balloons by time. They only slow the balloons that are on the screen. And you want to slow the balloons right away. So you have to keep pressing the ice ability over and over again. Not to mention the fact it only does 2 layers of slow. So if you slow a ZOMG and then it pops down to mobs, those mobs will be back to normal speed again. So you got to use that once again. So basically you need something like 15 to 20 ice tower abilities. So we want to spam those wherever we see fit. And then there's one last tower we have not talked about, which is probably the one that most people are confused about. Like, why the fuck is this in your loadouts? I mean, you want to be asking Josh, not me. He started with it, but I can explain pretty well. So what is the purpose of the Balloon Chipper? So the Balloon Chipper did get nerfed in the past. It used to be probably the best tower for late game besides the Temple, because it would, you know, suck up ZOMGs with this ability, and you could just get 60 of them on a map and stall ZOMGs pretty damn well and make it late. So, I mean, that was obviously very, very strong. But now it doesn't suck up ZOMGs. It only sucks up BFBs and below. Turns out, despite only being able to suck up BFBs and below, it is still extremely strong for late game, because it turns out that popping BFBs and Moebs and not having to worry about them ever is pretty damn good. So all you need is 8 to 10 Balloon Chippers. Josh got 8, I got 10 abilities near the end of the map, and that is all you need to permanently stall BFBs. So basically, once you take the ZOMG layer, knock it down to BFBs, you will never have to worry about it again, because all the balloons inside will just be permanently caught in a Balloon Chipper ability. So that's the purpose of the Balloon Chipper, and I would say that is pretty damn useful, just being able to keep those going. You have to have good timing. You have to pay attention to like when the balloons are in the Balloon Chipper stall and when they're not in the Balloon Chipper stall, and just try to keep them permanently in the Balloon Chipper stall. Also, the Balloon Chippers got to be right next to each other so they can come right out of one Balloon Chipper stall and basically into another without making too much actual track progress. So that's still really good, considering the fact that towers can still pop balloons while they're being Balloon Chipper stalled. So Balloon Chipper stall is just basically very, very, very strong. Stronger than any other 4th tower you could probably have for late game. And I guess I'll talk about that right now. So people wondering, well, why not the Mortar? Mortar works as a temple sacrifice, makes the temples even stronger, and Mortar stall is pretty good. And Mortar did used to be a pretty solid late game tower for those reasons. However, it just does not perform as well as the Chipper. Mortar stall is extremely inconsistent. There's actually a bit of a glitch with it, or sometimes if you manage to pop balloons too many times while they're Mortar stalled, they'll just randomly start moving again. Also, the Mortar stall is less and less effective as you get into later rounds in late game, meaning that they'll stall ZOMGs for about half a second, BFBs for 2 seconds, and Moebs for like 5 seconds as it goes on. And that's really short compared to the Balloon Chipper stall. Balloon Chipper stall BFBs for 4 seconds and Moebs for 8 seconds, which does make a difference. And the 0.5 second stall to a ZOMG basically does nothing. Just the fact that you can't stall BFBs and Moebs for as long is really crushing. Not to mention, you also have to sell and rebuy the Mortar ability constantly in some area of the map. So you have to pick out an area of the map where you just don't place towers. So you have to worsen your defense intentionally just so you can have room to sell and rebuy the Mortar tower, because you don't want to fill the screen with mortars. Those guys are big. They take up a lot of space. So you 100% do not want to do that. So you need to just have an open space, sell and rebuy it. So you better have good micro, and you better not be lagging. Because sometimes people lag so hard they can't micro as well, because it takes a while for the inputs to be noticed. So if you have that won't work out. And also, sometimes you just accidentally sell other towers, because I was trying to Mortar micro in a past late game attempt, and I sold a fucking temple, which was absolute trash. So I didn't want to do that again. So Chipper just works out a lot better. You just gotta press those abilities, and they're not going anywhere. Plus, they have an extremely tiny footprint, so you can fit in 8 to 10. It's just a really small space, so it works out really well. So then, what about Village? So the purpose of the Village would probably be for the attack speed buff and the Village ability, which could potentially make your towers do 2.3 times the amount of damage. And if you compare that to, I don't know, the Ninja ability, the Ninja technically makes your towers do twice as much damage to the balloons, because the balloons go half as slow and your towers have twice as much time. So theoretically, a village could be worth it, right? Well, sadly, that's not the case because the village ability is not permanent. It only lasts for 10 seconds. If you want the village ability to always be going, you have to probably sell and rebuy it, or take up a lot of tower space with village. And if you're taking up a lot of tower space with village, you lose out on techno terrors, and you can pop a lot less. Not to mention villages have, not the best range in the world, so you have to spam them all over the map, and you really just need as many techno terrors as possible. So using the village probably won't help you just because you won't be able to place too many towers. The ninja, just the slow it provides, it also is extremely space efficient because you can just place 4 ninjas in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and have them pop basically nothing, and it just works out. It basically doubles your popping power. So then, another good late game tower that I've tried using before is Sniper. I thought that was going to be the strategy for #type late game Sniper instead of Ninja. However, if you do Snipers, you have to sacrifice Techno Terror spots, like I mentioned with the Village, and it turns out that 50% slow is just way too good to pass up on. Even stunning the blimps is just not good enough, considering the fact you also need a bunch of Snipers. I mean, it might be good enough, it's just we didn't try it. We're trying the tried and true strategy to try to get that round 124 world record. So Sniper maybe we'll attempt in the future, but it's just not worth it right now. So, with that being said, those are the towers. What about the strategy? So like I mentioned, it's 12 temples, then you get 50 plus tech terrors. We got 51 this game, which is actually the most I've gotten in a #type late game run. Usually I have something like 30 or 40. So I'm like, 51 tech terrors? That's how you know we're going late. This is going to be good. Then you squeeze in 4 ninjas somewhere, then everywhere else is ice towers except for the 10 balloon chipper abilities in the back. So that's our setup. Now, all of our towers gotta be on strong. Remember how I mentioned with Balloon Chipper, you never have to worry about a BFB again? So that means the only thing you have to worry about is a ZOMG. So you take every single Super Monkey right when you place it, and you put that bitch on strong. Always on strong. All 51 Techno Terrors, all 12 temples on strong. No matter where it is, on strong. Your ninja monkeys that hardly pop any balloons, on strong. Your ice towers that don't pop Moabs, on strong. You want that, okay? Although actually, you really can't target an ice tower. It just does what the ice tower wants to. It fires whenever. So anyways, you want them on strong so they knock down the ZOMG layer to BFBs, and then the balloon chipper does the rest. So then, on top of that, there's a thing called ice stacking. So you know how I mentioned the ice tower only slows the balloons that are on the screen? You can actually use that to your advantage to create a lot more popping power. So there's this thing called ice stacking, which basically allows you to get more value out of your temples and techno terrors. The temples and techno terrors have a large pierce. So if they're hitting all of the ZOMGs at once, they're a lot more effective than if they were just hitting 1 or 2 ZOMGs at a time. Because then they would have to just shoot down 1 or 2 ZOMGs, then the next 1 or 2 ZOMGs, then the next, and that takes more time. So if they're shooting all of them at the same time, it gets the ZOMG layers all knocked down just a lot more quicker, then allows the balloon chipper to do their thing earlier, and it allows us to last longer. So with the ice tower ability, what you do is wait for one ZOMG to show up on screen, activate the ice ability, then wait for the next ZOMGs to be placed exactly on top of the previous ZOMGs, and then and only then you activate the ice ability next. That way you get all the ZOMGs stacked on top of each other, then you just get a lot more pop and power out of your current towers, and you do a pretty good job. Ice stacking is provably a lot better than non-ice stacking. Like, there's a decent comparison here. Josh did not ice stack this round on round 100, and I'm just going to take down the ZOMGs a lot quicker than he's taking his down. All these are just taken down a lot quicker, and he's even using his Techno Terror abilities. Despite having those plus 1,000 damages all across the map, I still took down the ZOMGs a lot quicker. So that's the power of ice stacking. So then, obviously, you just want to be activating the ninja ability every 15 seconds just to be sure you're on point. A good way to make that work is just at the... basically, think of a clock when the second hand's at the 12, then when it's at the 3, then when it's at the 6, then when it's at the 9. So at the minute mark, at the 15-second mark, the 30-second mark, and the 45-second mark are when you want to activate your ninja abilities, and that way you can just ensure that the balloons are always slowed. Most of the time, balloons will just be perma-slowed when they show up on screen, because usually right after you activate the ninja ability, all the balloons that come in the next 15 seconds will be perma-slowed. So that works out pretty well. So then, at this point in the game, for the next 20-ish rounds, ideally, will just be ability microing and trying to work on that. So doing balloon chipper abilities when necessary, doing that ice stacking when necessary, trying to get the perfect ice stack and get the ninja on time. And really, you just have to be super precise, and you also gotta spam the Techno-Terror abilities. You gotta spam click that, because 50 abilities are not gonna press themselves. You just gotta do it super quick. And if you don't, well, you're going to lose. So basically, it's all about precision at this point and not making any fuck-ups. So now the strategy for making it to round 124, or the idealized strategy, what we plan on doing. So we're not going just as late as possible. We are aiming for a specific round that is one more than the current record of 123. Duh. So we're going for round 124. So if we're doing that, we have to use our tower boost at a very specific time. The last 3 rounds that we want to beat have to be the 3 rounds that we tower boost. So if you want to get to round 124, we have to tower boost on rounds 121, 122, and 123. So for those who don't know, ZOMGs get stronger and faster every round. So those are the hardest rounds. So basically we need the tower boost. Otherwise, yeah, we will die 100%. So because of that, that means we have to defend every single round up until 121 without the tower boost. No pressing that. So I had a couple of runs where I accidentally pressed the tower boost while placing towers, which was bullshit, and you definitely don't want that to happen. The frickin' the thing in the top middle that is pretty annoying. You just keep pressing the tower boost button while trying to place towers there. There's a specific way to avoid it, which I did make work, but it was a bit of a challenge. So basically, you're going to see in these 111 rounds, or 110s, I guess, this decade of rounds, pretty much, the ZOMGs is going to get further and further and further, and it's gonna look like we're completely dead, but out of nowhere we'll just randomly start defending without the tower boost. So we're gonna start having sweaty palms. We're gonna be like, we really should battle energy, but we're just not going to right now, and gonna hope we defend. So this is basically crunch time. Everyone's subbing with Twitch Prime, everyone's cheering me on, everyone's hoping we can just make it past round 120 without battle energy. We'll see. Things actually look pretty good right now, I gotta say. There's a lot of ZOMGs, and they're making it kind of far, but they're not really making it to the bottom circle yet. They're making it maybe 2/3, 3/4 of the way around the track, but not the full way. And like I said, the second that ZOMGs get popped in the BFBs, you literally don't have to worry about the balloons anymore, because the balloon shippers will take care of them. I'm constantly activating the balloon shipper ability right now, and you can see the BFBs and Moabs are making 0 progress on the track once we start the balloon shipper stall. So realistically, even if a ZOMG pops right at the exit, it'll still be sucked up by the balloon shippers and not go anywhere. So we literally just have to worry about the ZOMGs. So we're doing a pretty good job right now on round 115 now. It looks like we're popping the balloons faster than Judge Josh, although he may have a few less tech terrors than me. That might be why. Or he might be doing some different stuff with his temple targeting. Maybe, I mean, all of our temples are on strong, and all of our tech terrors are on strong. I imagine it's that way for both of us. So I don't know why there'd be such a discrepancy, but I guess it doesn't matter since we're both staying alive. I gotta trust he knows what he's doing, considering he actually got the world record and made this strategy. But hey, we're trying to expand on it. Round 116, balloons are getting further. They're faster and stronger. If you guys want to know the exact numbers of just how much stronger and faster these balloons get every round, they get 40% stronger and 20% faster, just compared to the original ZOMG health and speed. So actually, believe it or not, at this point, the health of a Moab is much more than the health of a regular round 22 ZOMG. It is much more than that, probably almost double. So just imagine that the health and speed of these ZOMGs, it's insane. We need so much popping power, and we need a damn near the entire track. You can see ZOMGs are getting maybe 5 seconds from the exit now, and we're only on round 118, so we still have to take down round 118, then 2 more rounds without boosts. And if ZOMGs are making it that far, it is pretty scary. ZOMGs are making it about 4 seconds from the exit now, maybe 3 seconds. Like, it's scary close. We're still taking it down. The Techno-Terror abilities are really coming in clutch. I'm activating abilities just basically non-stop at this point, just to ensure that we have perfect usage. And also, got to make sure that our ice stacking is on point. Have to make sure. So round 119 is getting really scary. ZOMG's close to the exit, but did not even hit that straight away, and they still got knocked down to BFB, so we're doing okay, but there's still ZOMG's on this screen. Round 120. Here we go. This is the round that we need to beat without balance Gs. Can we do it? Can we come in clutch? They're going to make it further than ever. I don't know if we're going to take us down. There's 2 more on my side, 2 more Judge Josh's side. I panic boost, and unfortunately, Judge Josh does die. So that was scary close. I genuinely think, yes, I did panic boost, but I genuinely think I would have defended that round without boosting and without panicking. But I just did it anyways, just to be safe, and it didn't really matter since Judge Josh died anyways. So sadly, we were disgustingly close. Believe it or not, I do think there's things that could be improved on from this run. I'm not going to say what they are, in case if anyone else is planning on getting this world record, and I don't want them to steal my strategies and get to round 124 before me, because I genuinely think round 24 is feasible. So we were insanely close to getting it that time. If we had boosted on round 120, then boosted on round 121, then 122, we would have tied Judge Josh's world record, because that's exactly what he did for his round 123 video. But I didn't want to tie it. I was going for that W. So what an insanely close run. What an insanely hype, insanely ridiculous run. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be trying it again probably next Saturday, I imagine. So I'm thinking we'll get it this time because the improvements should actually make a large difference in our output. Maybe we'll even hit round 125. No, I doubt we will. 124 should be feasible though. So get hyped for that. And anyways, thanks all you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this insane run. And I'll see you all in the live stream today and tomorrow's video. Peace out.